Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another Fool's Gold Future State review. This time I'll be covering the Legion of Superheroes Future State and Superman vs. Imperious Lex. As you can see, both of these titles cost $3.99 in the US, to which they are $7.15 in Australian dollars. I'll go ahead to rating each of them in regards to the cover, the art, and also the story, to which I give my rating to how much I think they're worth. Time to move on to the Legion of Superheroes. Well, to start off, I didn't expect to be returning back to Bender straight away, especially after the last one. But you know what? Let's get to it. Now, starting off with the rating for the cover, does the cover actually work for the internal story? In this, I really didn't like the cover, and it didn't really work with the story. To which I gave the story 3 out of 10, to which I believe the cover is worth 75 cents. Time to move into the internal art and how it worked with the story. Now, this is some art at the beginning of the story. I will now move to some art to the middle of the story. This is the art around the middle of the story, and I'll now move towards the end. And this is the art towards the end. It was pretty consistent in what it delivered, but how it worked with the story, I'm afraid I also gave it 3 out of 10, to which I believe it was worth 75 cents. Moving into the actual story, some of the locations that it covered was Planet Gotham, Daxam, and of course the Kolu Quadrant, plus one other place. The cast was made up of Tasmania, Saturn Girl, Brainiac, Chameleon Boy, Colossal Boy, the Lightning Twins, Bouncing Boy, and Lightning Lad and Lass, who both made an appearance. It was nice to get to see the cast in this, but how did it work with the story? The story in this didn't feel really strong at all in any way, shape or form. I couldn't get myself invested in it. I found I lacked a lot of interest in the story. I had no idea what the hell was going on. Though, with a lot of Brian Michael Bendis' stories, who the hell does know what's really going on? Take my advice, pick up his Jinx World titles. Don't pick up this. To which I gave the story rating a 3 out of 10, to which I believe it's also worth 75 cents, giving this a total of $2.25. I'll now move on to Superman vs. Imperious Lex. As I move on to Superman vs. Imperious Lex, did this cover actually help the story? Well, it did in part, to which I gave the cover 5 out of 10, to which I believe it was worth $1. Now, let's have a look at some of the internal art. This is some of the art at the beginning, some of the art at the middle, and I'll now cover the end. And as you can see, this is around the end. For this art, I also gave it 5 out of 10, to which I believe it was worth $1. Now let's move on to the story and how it worked with it. Now this story takes place in a few locations. Of course, we've got Metropolis, to which the United Planets is, the planet Lexor. The key cast of characters in this were mainly L.o.S.H, Superman, and of course Lex Luthor. As you, if it's one thing that sort of stood out in this, it didn't come off as a very strong story. Of course, we had Superman doing his role in sort of like helping the United Planets, and it felt as terrible as a Bendis story. I'm sorry to say. I enjoyed the art. The story, not so much. Um, and of course, we've got the connection to Oa, plus a number of other planets. Didn't see much of the Thanagarians. Apart from that, it was just mainly a flip-flop between Earth and the planet Lexor. To which Lex, of course, is seeking help from the United Planets. And of course, Lois gets picked to be an ambassador. Yeah, doesn't really work, especially if she's meant to be a Nobel Peace Prize. Is this a way to give her a bigger promotion or a bigger pay rise? It felt it lacked, and it lacked a lot. And this is where I gave the story 3 out of 10, to which I believe it was worth 75 cents, giving us a total of $2.75 for the story. Well, this is the end of this review on both Superman and Legion of Superheroes of the Future State. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until then, let's keep it colourful.